Look at us. We did it. Hey, Gloria.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. You made me get up and put some makeup on. I was all decked out in my house dress and my robe. I'm like, okay, Gloria, let's do this right now. Okay.
Me too.
Excellent. How are you today?
Doing good. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. So right now we are actually live streaming into the Facebook group for the other students who are in who are part of the group.
Okay.
And we're making this also so that I can send out in an email to people who are wondering the thing we were talking about. So just to let everyone know here, hold on, let me see how I'm supposed to do this. Okay. So I am going to be talking about how to make money as a spiritual life coach. And look, there are thousands of different ways of going about making money as a spiritual life coach. And what I want to do is to give you a realistic expectation so that you can make an informed decision about, whether this is something you can handle or not. Because, you're basically opening a new business. And for me, your business is partially determined by the work you do, like how much work you do to prepare yourself, how much work you do to set yourself up. But it's also about your mindset, right? What you're willing to allow the universe to move through you, how easy you're going to allow this to be, or how complex you're going to make this become. Okay. So I like to take a multi-level approach to my business. And I want to make sure that I make it very clear that today we're only talking about the numbers. Okay. We're not talking about mindset. We're not talking about the things you need to do to get there. We're only going to be talking about, it's not just the numbers. I'm going to give you an overall view of what we need to do, and then I'm going to give you the numbers. Okay. So my dear friend, Gloria, my dear friend and my student, Gloria is going to be here. She's the perfect person to have this discussion with because she is a businesswoman. She's self-employed, and she's also becoming a spiritual life coach. So she's also a Capricorn. And so she knows how to talk about things. I'm sorry, I just realized that I don't have my light on. I hope look, if I turn on this light and I still don't look light, hello, my light works, yay. Okay, so yes, so Gloria is really very qualified to be here. And so I'm very lucky to have her here. So what I'm going to do, let's see, I have a document, and I'm going to share that one document. Let's see, and I'm going to share my screen. Gloria, you can hear me okay, right?
I can.
Okay, great. Thank you. This is the one. Oh, wait, I did it wrong. Let me see, I did it wrong. Oops. I did do it wrong. Okay. Oh, girl. Here we go. Just this last few days, I've been having some issues with technology. Okay. Boom. That's a good start right there. Boom. I think I can share that. Gloria, what do you see on my screen right now?
Year one.
That's it, right?
Yep.
Woo. Okay, I did it. I learned how to do that. All right. So what we're going to do is think about being a life coach for the first year. Okay. The first year should be the hardest year, okay? Because after the first year, things should get easier. You should find more abundance. You should find more flow. You should find more of your voice. You should find more confidence. All those things. You know how this goes, Gloria. You've owned businesses before. You know that it should get easier because you've established yourself in the beginning, right? So Gloria is in my spiritual life coach certification for Badass Butterflies. And so we are going to be in that program. We have some goals that we need to accomplish in order to, so that you can set yourself up and be a life coach that feels successful and who can function effectively in your business. Okay, so you're positioned to make money, you're positioned to share your services, your offerings, all those things. We need to get you set up for that. So overall, we really have just 4 simple goals, okay, that we want to accomplish in the program that we're working together. The first is going, and actually I'm going to start with the last goal and I'm going to work backwards. So the last goal is to sign up 3 new private one-on-one clients, okay? That means you're seeing these people privately. You've got a coaching package for them. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes, but you've got 3 new clients on your books that are paying you or have paid you in full for your services. We want you also, the next goal is to enroll 10 people in your signature transformation program. Now, I'm going to help you set up your coaching package, and I'm going to help you set up your signature transformation program. That's what we do in this certification for Badass Butterflies. Now, what we also want you to do is grow your email list by 350 people. Okay, that would be the minimum. Grow your email list by 350 people. If you don't have an email list, no problem. Okay, we're going to grow you to 300 people. If you have a list already, then we will grow that by 350 people. We're just going to add them to your list. It doesn't matter where you begin. Before we even do that, we want this goal, which I have here as number 1, which is to launch and grow your Facebook group to 300 members. The reason I have these set up in this order is because we need to start by growing our Facebook group, okay? And then we want to be adding and growing our email list. And once we have those 2 things done, it's going to make it a lot easier for us to enroll 6 to 10 people in our signature program. And it'll make it that much easier to sign up 3 new private people. Okay. So the program, Spiritual Life Coach Certification for Badass Butterflies, is really just about doing these 4 things. Now, just to give you a little heads up, and I'm not going to go into this in detail, okay? But I'm not going to go into this in detail now, but just to let you know, in order to do those 4 goals, we have, let me count, okay? Let me count. We have 8. We have 8 objectives. So in order to reach these 4 goals, we have 8 objectives. And these objectives are going to be, are really what the program is all about. I have to take you through all of these steps and help you create these things. These things will feel very general right now, and they might even seem a little bit vague, but don't worry, we're going to break each one of those things down in the program and actually talk about do these things. You don't need to worry about these things because we're just going to be talking, we're just using these as kind of a portal to start talking about how to earn money as a life coach, okay? So overall, your objectives is to establish what it is that you offer. Like, what is the service that you're going to be offering people? What is the transformation that you're going to be offering people? And how are you going to talk about it? Like, if I want to help people transform unworthiness, that's a super vague and term, right? So what I do is create a framework that I've thought through, that I've built, that I've created with my own knowledge and my own research that helps me understand what I mean by unworthiness, and will help me communicate to the public what I mean. So that's the framework. So we have to establish that framework. Then in creating the framework, to get really clear about what our spiritual philosophy is and how I'm going to help people transform from unworthiness, right? So I need to be able to talk about that in a really clear, concise way. So I need to get my messaging down to get really, really clear. Now, once I've done those things, I can then really create a program and a menu of services that is going to be exciting for me and really, really helpful for my ideal client, right? And of course, the thing I really should have put in here, and I'm just now, I realize I didn't start about it. I should have started with, I need to identify who my ideal client is, identify ideal client. That's what I'll write. Identify ideal client. The reason you want to start here is because you don't want to work with someone who isn't exciting for you, who isn't working on the thing that you want to help them with, right? And if they cannot relate to you, then you're going to have a really, really hard time being able to create any kind of rapport and to get them to do what you need them to do to help themselves, right? So right now, the very first thing you want to do is to identify who your ideal client is, okay? Now, once you've done that, then you can create the framework, right? Because you're gonna know what they need, and you're gonna be able to set up your messaging so that you can communicate with your ideal client clearly, right? Now, and then of course, create your services, you'll create your program. Once you have your program created and you know what it is you want to offer, you then have to sit down and brain how you're going to get your messaging and your content out that will help people understand your transformation that you're offering. So if I want to talk about unworthiness, right, and I want to help people transform unworthiness, I have to educate them about what I mean unworthiness, what I mean when I say unworthiness. And if I'm going to use terms like unconditional love, I need to make a definition of that. And if I'm going to talk about unworthiness and perhaps feeling alienated, maybe I need to talk about what it feels like to be alienated so that people are being drawn in to me and my work based on how I'm educating them. I'm sure that makes perfectly good sense to Gloria because she's also an educator, right? So that is another objective that we have in building out our spiritual life coach certification or our spiritual life coaching business, okay? So the education strategy. Once we have all this wonderful stuff that we're offering, the thing that we need to do now is to figure out a system that is going to consistently deliver our message, our offerings, our ideas, our creative impulses to our to our audience. You need a system for that. You can't just throw up a blog on January 1st and then throw up another blog on October 16th and then be like, hey, why isn't anybody coming into my business, right? You need to have a system that consistently delivers your message. You can't go live on Facebook on February 14th and then go again live on April 31st and be like, hey, y'all, Follow me. You get it? You remember what I talked about 2 months ago? Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to actually show up regularly, and you need a plan to help you show up regularly. Okay? Gloria, do you have any questions about anything?
Not yet.
All right, awesome. The other thing that you have to do, of course, while you're sitting there and developing your system for delivering stuff, you also have to create all of the content. And I wrote a little note here that says, hint, this comes from your educational strategy. So when you're writing out your educational strategy, you're identifying what it is you need to do, boom, 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 the things you want to say, things you want to talk about. That is where you're going to determine what content. That's where you're going to start creating your content. And then you're going to, number 8, the platform where you're going to be delivering your content. So your website, your blog, your lead magnets, your landing pages, your Facebook posts, your Instagram posts, your YouTube videos. All of those platforms need to be built. You have to build them out. So you have to, of course, upload the content, but you also have to identify yourself and talk about who you are. So you have to create your bios for all of those. You have to tell your stories and fill in the blanks for all of those platforms, so that when people are observing your content, everything is in place for them to take action on what you've just inspired them to do. All right. So for that, of course, we go into that in detail in the program. But for right now, understand that just because someone comes to your blog, you have to tell them what to do. Now that they've read your blog, now what? What happens next? You have to know how to communicate that to them. And in order for them to know what to do, you have to know what you want them to do. And that's what these goals and objectives are all about, getting really clear about exactly what you want everyone to do when they are receiving your material. When they get an email from you, what do you want them to do next? When they get, see one of your Facebook posts, what do you want them to do next? All right. You have to build all of that out. And then the last thing, and it's not really the last thing, but for our purposes, for this overview, the last thing we need to do is to actually start delivering all of our good content to the public. Once we're ready to start delivering our content, then we can start getting into what I really wanted to look at in this session today, which is exploring, okay, and this is an exploration of your earning potential as a first-year coach, okay? So as a first-year coach, how much money should you expect to make? And it partially depends on your work, like work you're going to put. It depends mostly, though, on your mindset. Now, we're not going to really, I've already talked about the work you need to do in general. And I'm going to say there is one thing I want to talk about with mindset. And that is that you must be prepared to do hard, painful things. Now, I know you might be shutting down right now. Gloria is not shutting down because Gloria is not afraid of hard, painful things. But I am saying this right now because the fact of the matter is you cannot expect to be an entrepreneur if you are afraid of hard things. Working for yourself requires for you to have independence. You have to have vision. You have to take risks, and you have to be badass. You really do have to be badass because you have to be resilient. You have to stand up to critics. You have to stand up to criticism that don't even make sense. Some of your criticisms will be accurate, and you'll be like, damn, that was right. I need to show up better. Okay. But a lot of criticisms that are going to be coming to you are going to be just stupid, just somebody's stupidity, some troll, okay, that is just throwing out shit because they're just shitty, okay? So you need to learn how to deal with that, okay? And sometimes they're going to catch you at a time when you're sensitive and you're vulnerable. You have to learn how to deal with your own sensitivity and your vulnerability and get up and still keep going, keep showing up, keep making your videos, keep putting your ideas out there, keep focusing on what it is that you believe in. Some of those critics are going to even come from your own family, from your own friends, from your own circle. You have to deal with criticisms and crazy looks of people who have not done it. And my point is that they have not done it. They've not walked in your shoes. Most of those people criticizing you have not run a business, or they've not started a business from scratch, self-made, like I am, like you are going to be. All right. They didn't do it. They don't know. Okay. And they're casting judgment about something they don't know. You have to understand that you're the one who's doing this, and you get to rise above it all and show up for yourself and whatever your big why is for starting this business. Okay. So I know Gloria's checked out for a moment, but I'm going to keep on going because I know she's still listening with her ears. All right. So there are two basic things that we're going to talk about today. And look, there are many different business models that you can use for coaching. All right, for setting up your coaching business. I'm going to bring in just two simple ideas that I love. They're easy, they're fun, and they're practical, they're usable, and they are two things that people can relate to. One is group coaching, and the other is a package of private sessions. Excuse me, my dog is scratching at the door. I'm going to let him in so that he does not tear the door down. Hello, Apollo. Hi, buddy. Oh, you're cold. Is it cold outside, sweet dog? Oh, my goodness. How's my sweet boy? How's my sweet boy? All right. Hi, buddy. Come on. Come and say hi. Hi. He's gonna show you his back and get on the bed because that's all he cares. That's his life right there on the bed. That's my boy. He's like, I'm gonna sit here in Mama's video. I'm in Mama's video right now. All right, so we've got two different types of clients that we're going to bring in. We're going to bring in clients or students to our group coaching program, and we're going to bring in clients to our private coaching package. Now, you can have a menu of services with as many one-off services as you want. However, I don't recommend that you build your business entirely on one-off services. Number one, it takes the same amount of energy to bring in a client for one service as it does for 13, a package of 13. It's the same discovery session call, the same amount of energy to talk, but if you sell them one service at a time, then you send them away, then they come back another time, you got to do another discovery session to sell them another service, then they got to go back and do another discovery session to do another. It's really not a practical or profitable way of doing business. Okay. And Gloria, did you have a question?
I don't.
Okay, so I just muted you just because I was getting a little bit of it. Okay, so sorry about that. Just when you have a question though, please feel free to unmute yourself. You ain't got to raise your hand. Just be like, Crystal, what up? Okay. I recommend that you have a list of services that are individual, because individual services are great for a person to have a one like a taste of what you offer. So for example, if you want to do chakra alignments, chakra readings, psychic readings, tarot readings, numerology readings, whatever you want to do, Reiki, right? If you want to do a one-off session for that, that's fine. But I definitely recommend that you talk to the person holistically. So if they're coming in for a chakra alignment, talk to them holistically about themselves and help them understand that one chakra alignment today will help them feel great for the next 2 or 3 days. But if you could work with them for 3 months, you can set them up on a different, totally different trajectory for their life, for their entire life moving forward, right? 3 months of working with you in a one-on-one intimate environment is life-changing for a person. This is not small steps. These are giant steps a person can make. You can take a person from being in a depression, being on medication, to being off medication and, in a new environment, like a new living environment, a new relationship, a new job. You can take a person to the moon in 3 months. So just keep in mind that this is not upselling, like that's not what we do. If a person is coming in for one service, they are getting one service, and one service does not transform a person. That's not the way it works. But a series of coaching is transformational. And that's what you do when you love someone. You take them to the highest level. So again, not upselling, actually looking at reality, right? How can this person benefit the most? If they get service from you, because maybe that's all they can afford, that's fine, right? You can offer them that one service, but I can guarantee you that most of the time, people who have come in for service with me, even one round of coaching with me, they want another round. They want to go to that next level because they feel it. They see the benefit in their lives. Their relationships are changing. They're losing weight. They're feeling better about themselves. Their lives are improving because they're working with a life coach. That's our job. Okay. So group coaching and packages of coaching are what we're going to be talking about today. So we'll talk more about the packages later. I want to talk about group coaching to start. Okay, so you are going to, I suggest that you start with an 8-week group life coaching program. And actually, let me just set this up this way so I can keep track in my notes here. Right, so we're talking about group right now, and we want to look at an 8-week group coaching program that you create. In 8 weeks, you are going to help a group of people transform their lives. Experimenting and looking at money, you want to kind of play around with the numbers, okay? So with the coaching program, you're going to provide 8 weekly group coaching sessions that are 60 to 90 minutes long. Right? You'll decide that depending on what you're going to be offering in the curriculum. Do you want it to be 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours, right? Up to you to decide, but this is what I'm looking at just to kind of give us a little, to give us a little structure here. And let's say that you're going to also offer 4 bi-weekly private coaching sessions for 50 to 60 minutes each. Okay, so person's going to come in, they're going to get group coaching sessions, but then they're going to spend a little bit of time with you one-on-one. You're going to give them about an hour of time every 2 weeks. This way you can make sure that you are actually giving them something of great quality. You're making sure that they are benefiting from their time in the group by following up with them in it. Okay, so again, you're a new coach. You're trying these things out. You want to make sure your stuff works. So this is what we're doing. This is how you're going to, okay? You're going to make sure it works because you're going to listen. You're going to put people in a group and glom them all together. Like, I hope this is working for all y'all. You're give them private time, and it's going to help them see you as a coach. They're going to learn more from you, but also in the end, when they write their reviews for you, they're going to have this experience of great transformation, and they're going to leave you great reviews, which is going to help other people know how wonderful you are. All right. Now, as part of this group, you're going to also offer, okay, we're adding value right now, right? So we've got an 8-week program. We're adding in the group coaching program, okay? Because keep in mind, you could just put your curriculum up and be like, hey, read this book, okay? That's one level of value. But what we're saying is actually, we're going to add some group coaching in there, okay? So these group sessions are adding value. Then we're going to even add even more private coaching, okay? More added value. You're going to top that off by adding in some office hours, right? So that they can maybe come in on Tuesdays and have a little chat with you what they're doing or about what they're experiencing. Okay, just a way to open up your availability to be able to support your people. Okay, this is really important. Then you're going to offer a private Facebook community so that people are feeling like they are part of something bigger. And also you and your community, you're bringing together all the people who know about you and also invest with you. And these are a very elite group of people. So you want to have a special community for them. All right. Now, this next thing is a part of your curriculum. So you're going to have workbooks, worksheets, sizes. Gosh, and I should have started off with this. Well, not necessarily, but videos as well. Okay, I love videos. I love being able to make videos, and teaching with videos I think is just so cool. To learn from videos is so cool, right? So these are the things that you're going to put together and use to create your program. Now, you're going to offer this for $2,000 per person. So people are going to come into the program. They're going to be paying about $1,000 a month or $2,000 so that they can spend this time with you. All right. Now, the question then becomes, how many people can you bring into the program? If you bring in one person, you're going to, let's see, here we go. There. Whoops, there. Why are you down? Yeah, no, that's right where it should be. Okay. You bring in one person, you're going to be bringing in $2,000 in revenue for your program for the 2 months. So that's like $1,000 a month that you will have generated. And to be honest with you, that's not bad. Bringing in one person is not bad, okay? But bringing in the amount of energy it takes to bring in one person is the same amount of energy that you need to bring in 6 to 8 people, 8 to 10 people. Same amount of energy. One live stream, right? It's going to be seen by the people, right? So do the work to bring in more, right? Your blog, right? One blog post, you wrote one blog post, you did one live stream. What you have to do is just get it out to more people. But the writing of that blog, the making of that video was the same 3 or 4 hours. So your job is to understand that you have to leverage what you create and get your word out, your ideas out to more people. So if you bring in a minimum of 6 people, which is a reasonable amount for a first-time launch, you bring in 6 people at $1,000, you're going to bring in $12,000 in revenue. Okay, it's $12,000 over for a 2-month program. That's about $6,000 a month. Okay. Now, the impulse would be to relaunch your program again once you're done with this one. And I like that impulse. The problem is that you can't launch your program again right away. because you won't have the energy for it. You won't have the momentum for it. While you're doing your program, you're going to be losing a little bit of momentum around promoting your program because you're doing your program. All right. So you are going to need, in order to launch, you're going to need a little bit of time. So I suggest that you launch the program again in 6 months. That's a reasonable, that is a reasonable amount of time to give yourself to teach, to make tweaks and changes, to regenerate your energy in your groups, more marketing materials out, and to gather more people and to build on your platform even more, because you want more people this time now that you're relaunching, right? And because you now have testimonials, right? So you're going to relaunch in 6 months with upgrades, improvements, and testimonials. So now your program has some traction behind it. People are like talking about it. You have social proof that, you know, you have evidence, you have street credibility now, you've done it, okay? You can charge a little bit more money for your program. So I say, let's look at $2,500 this time around. And let's say that you are still kind of sitting on that, I can't do it fence, and you only bring in one person, okay? Yes, you'll have $2,500 in revenue, all right? But what happens if you are a little bit more self-aware, okay? You're more confident. You're working on your mindset as you should be, okay? And you bring in this time 10 people, right? You went from 6 just to a conservative 10, okay? Didn't even try to double it. You just increased it by 4. 6 is already the minimum. Upping that by 4 should be pretty easy, especially at this price point of $2,500. That's what people are accustomed to spending on group coaching programs, right? So now we see that we've got $25,000 in revenue. So if we did 12,000 and now we've done 25,000, I think that's $37,000 in revenue that we've generated so far this year, okay? Gloria, are there any questions or any comments that you want to make about at this point?
Nope, I'm following along.
All right, excellent. Thank you, friend. All right, so the beautiful thing about the way that I'm teaching you in this program is that you're going to then, once you've gone through these 2 incarnations of your program, what you're going to be left with is, of course, an opportunity to relaunch the program again. You could make it even better. You could increase the number of students. You could charge more money for it, okay? But what I recommend you do is you go into a self-study mode and you launch this now with videos and its own platform and email system that's automated to deliver the information at a set time. People can now buy into the self-study program, right? So you've created these videos, you've created these worksheets, you've done some live streams that you can include in there to add even more value to it. And I wanted to give you a number to charge for this because I like working with the conservative numbers when talking about finances. We don't want to overestimate, so we're going to just look at something conservative. What if you offer this program for them to study on their own, right? And they will pay just $1,000. Now, this is an extremely handsome price point. It's self-study, so you aren't doing any more work. This is now considered passive income, right? You sell it to one person, you've made $1,000. But if you really work the system that I'm giving you in this program, perhaps over the course of a year as a beginning coach, maybe you'll actually sell it to people And you've thus created an additional $12,000 in revenue that's based on the work you've already done. The only thing you're working on now is just making sure that you're driving people to the sales page so that they can download this program for themselves. And you can do that through ads, through your email list, through your talks on, through your YouTube channel, all those things. You can pay for ads or not. You don't really need to pay for ads today because there's so many great avenues that are out there that work for free. Okay. All right. Any questions on that so far? We're good? Awesome. Great. So let's just take a peek now at the private one-on-one model. Okay, so that's what we can do with the group coaching. Now, the private coaching section is going to go a lot quicker because we don't have that much to talk about. These are private sessions. And what I'm going to suggest that you do with the private sessions is, dun, da, 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 whoops, boom. What I suggest you do is you create a package of 13 sessions, and that would go for about 13 weeks, okay? So you could do twice a week, right? So the 13 sessions would be done in about 6 weeks, or you could do once a week and do it over 3 months. It all depends on your client needs, what they need, and how you want to do it, okay? I'm going to do this again, being very conservative, where you're doing 1 session a week. So this would be about a 13-week program that you've created of private one-on-one sessions that last from 50 to 60 minutes. With that, you're going to create a workbook, worksheets, and exercises. This all goes along with the same transformation you're offering. It's just you're offering privately. Okay. I also recommend that you offer email support where you give they can write you and talk about what they're going through, and you can get 24 to 48 hours to respond to them and address their issues. And I think that's a really nice, supportive way for a coach to conduct themselves, to conduct their businesses, and people feel good with that. Now, you can offer a package of this caliber as a starting coach very easily for about $2,275 for the package. That comes down to about $175 per session, but you don't really need to talk per session price with your clients. You don't need to do that. You just let them know that we're going to be working together, and this package of transformation is going to be $2,275, okay? Now, again, if you sell this to just one person, okay, because you're the one person butterfly, you're not a best butterfly quite, because obviously you don't feel badass if you're only doing one sell. You're not feeling badass, okay? So you're just being butterfly, or maybe you're still in the cocoon a little bit. We'll see if I feel like I can actually give you your certificate if you're only bringing in one person. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Okay, so if you bring in 12 people, okay, over the course of, not 12 all at one time, you're not going to work on 12 people all at one time, but over the course of the year, if you bring in 12 people, you will be bringing in $27,300 in revenue, okay? Now, this is all we need to look at. We've got our group study numbers, group coaching numbers, our self-study numbers, and our private one-on-one numbers for the year. Any questions yet, Gloria?
I have one from earlier on, but it's not quite here. I'll replace it. I'll tell you what it is, but what is
Gloria, I'm having trouble hearing you.
About 4 bi-weekly coaching. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think I can hear you now.
I have a strong signal, so
it's good now for sure.
Okay, so you had mentioned 4 bi-weekly
coaching sessions
earlier on. Does that mean 4 people, or does that mean
4 individual? So each person in the program would get 4 sessions privately with you.
4 sessions, but twice a week. So that would be 2 weeks. Got it.
Bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks they'd get 1 session. So over 8 weeks, they would have like 1 every other week. So they'd end up with 4 sessions. Thank you for asking that.
Okay. 8
weeks. Good question.
Yeah. It's just because of time. So as we're going over the numbers, and I know that you're carefully thinking it, but I'm doing it too, is how much time
exactly. Yeah.
will
that's why
you
we have
be
to do this.
Expending?
Right.
Right.
That's
so perfect.
also,
thank you.
That's why we're also doing it with numbers. We're not saying like bring in 12 people. Like I said, you're not going to sign up 12 people all at one time for the private sessions, because for private sessions, that's 12 a week, right? And you may not have time for 12 a week. But if you have 6 people in your program and you're seeing them every other week, only 3 a week, right? Doing private sessions. I think did you get it, Gloria?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. Yeah, excellent. But great question. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Now, let's look now at the total revenue for your first year. Okay. And so we can now start wrapping this up, because now we're going to just look at how much money you can earn, or you should expect to earn, or you can think about earning as a beginning life coach. All right. So if we look at your group spiritual life coaching program, actually, let me move this up here. Ooh, let me do it like that. There. Okay. And actually, maybe I'll just bring it down. Oh, let me do it like this. Here we go. Boom. Copy. Now we'll start it here on the new page. Boom. Okay, so let's look at the total revenue for the first year group spiritual life coaching program. Okay, if you bring in 1 person, then you would expect to have made $2,000 from that work for the first year. But if you bring in 6 people, you're looking at, okay? And in 6 months, you're going to do the relaunch. All right. And these numbers should look familiar. These are the numbers we just talked about. And in 6 months, you'll do another relaunch. Okay. Or you'll do a relaunch. All right. And we've got those numbers again. If you bring in 1 person, you're going to bring in $2,500 because we upped the price a little bit. It's an upgraded program. You're more confident. So we're charging a little bit more for it. And if you bring in 10 people, right, again, you're more confident. You've done this before. You know what you're doing. You have testimonials. Bringing in more people, right? $25,000 in revenue. And then in 2 months, right, after you've gone through that program, again, you can then do the work to repackage that and then relaunch it. And with that relaunch or the self-study package, this is now your passive income that's just giving you money while you sleep. You've got either, if you bring in 1 person, because you just don't go live, you don't make your blog, you're not doing the work, you bring in 1 person, you're going to get $1,000. But if you're doing the work, it's really easy to expect to bring in, again, a very conservative 12 people, okay? How many people, I mean, like once you've created this and you've got some ads that are going, you've got some videos and you've got an email funnel that is just talking about this thing and showing your testimonials and you're just feeding that. If it's a good program, you can easily make that in a week. Like once things are going, you can easily make that in a week. All right. This is not something we need to take lightly. This is not something we need to poo-poo. passive income is real, and what you're doing is creating intellectual property. And intellectual property, especially when it's high quality, which is what I'm going to be helping you produce, is worth its weight in gold, as you will see in a year when you start making your money. All right, boom. Now, we add into that the private coaching, and we will see here those same numbers that I just carried down, right? If you bring in one person, boom, if you bring in 12 people over the course of a year. All right. Now, let's look at the worst case scenario and going through this thing, trying to be your own business owner. Okay. The very worst case scenario is that you give up and you go back to the 9-to-5 grind. Okay. I just can't do it. Can't trust myself, can't make any changes. Let's look at the not the worst case scenario, but the one that where you're feeling limited, you're feeling resistant, you're not quite in the mindset yet, okay? And I'm saying you're challenged by inner demons that you just, but you show up, you put together a package, you put together a program, you put together your stuff, you know, you have a website, but you still aren't dealing with your inner work, okay? The worst that you can do in that situation will look like this, okay? Let's see, let me do it like this. And all I did was bring forward the individual numbers. If you sold that to one person, if you sold the group coaching to one person, if you sold the relaunch to one person, if you sold just one when you resell, when you do the self-study package, and if you bring in just one client private for a package, okay, you'll make $7,775 for the year. And honestly, that's not bad. I mean, if that's the worst scenario that you do, not the end of the world, but gosh, work, we can do better than that. We can sure as hell do better than that. All right. Let's set our sights on giving it our all, doing our mindset work. Okay. Engaging with the community, you know, looking to me, your mentor, holding me accountable to your questions, you know, asking when you have questions, showing up, watching the live streams, doing the work. Okay. And of course, doing your own inner work and dealing with your own demons, dealing with your own resistance, okay? This is what you can expect if you do the work. And again, these numbers are just brought forward. You bring in 6 people to your group coaching session. You bring in 10 people to your relaunch, okay? You 12 people to your package over the course of a year, not all in one month, just over the year. That's about one person a month who signs up for coaching with you, just about one person a month, okay? You will have a total revenue of $76,300 that you will have earned in your coaching program. Now, we are all going to fall in different areas. There are going to be some people who knock this out of the ballpark because their programs cost more. They're just working at a higher price point. Okay. There are some people who are going to, double this number. All right. And I'm totally open to you doing significantly better than this. You can also do worse than this. All right. And that would be okay. $76,000, $7,000. Let's say you land halfway in between 7,076, maybe around $35,000. Okay. You don't do the top, but you do somewhere in the middle. That's not so bad. It's not so bad for your first year of coaching, because you're going to go up from here. You will learn more. You will apply yourself more. Any mistakes you make, you will correct. Okay. All right. I feel like that's all I really have to say about this. this is what we're going to be aiming for. Okay. And I really think you can even do more. I'm excited to see people who will do more. But I'm really excited to see you do this. Okay. If you do this, to me, that would be a win. Gloria, I want to ask you, how would you feel if your first year you did this? And just be honest. If you want to do much more, feel free to say it. If you feel like, oh, it's too big, say it well. You're muted.
This is a very conservative number. I think that it can happen. I'm the next little session want to see about the hours, because the hours are equivalent to the money as well, right?
Well, yes, and yes, the hours do count. When you say the hours, Gloria, tell me more specifically about what you mean.
To refine it, to get better, what to aim at, an expectation of your new clients that want to do coaching as this, how much time in development, how much time in actually meeting face-to-face with clients, how much, because there's some of this that you're repackaging and doing a self-study, that won't be as much time face-to-face.
No, there won't be any time face-to-face.
Right.
That's why it's self-study.
Right. Well,
and passive and passive income.
And it is passive.
Right.
But you're still putting time into it. And so
well, that's the building though, right?
Mm-hmm. You've kind of already done that. You've kind of already done that in the launch, in the building and all of that. So I think that is a realistic next step for me to see the time as well. And get really excited about that and spare that time. I think that the biggest thing is not sparing enough time, even for your rest, right? So,
yes,
and I know that
I need to get a little bit clearer about what you mean by time. So building the base, right? You need 10 months, and you're building a business. So okay. Building out building out the website, building out the funnel, building out the Facebook group, building out the program. Is that the kind of time you're talking about? Or are you talking about purely after all that's done, what's the time?
Yes. And that's kind of individual too, because you kind of gave a little indicator that it could be 50 minutes or an hour. You kind of gave an indicator of 60 minutes or maybe 90 minutes when we're doing the group sessions. So a lot of this is, okay, now for my work or the next part is to kind of figure, this is what I can realistically expect once my 10 months are over.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is you want to know like how much, so when you do, and I'm going to give you, by the way, this worksheet that I created. Okay. But what I hear you saying is, and it has written out how much time.
Right.
Okay.
I have to figure out, okay, so if I have my 14 clients and I have this time, and my schedule, and I need to get excited about my schedule because like you said, I'm a Capricorn, and I see that schedule and I visualize it too. And so that's what's next for me. Okay. Not necessarily you and me, but that's next for me.
Yeah. Look,
once I see that, I feel it, and I'm already doing it in my head.
Great.
Like, if I'm looking for rain and if I don't see it raining and I don't feel the rain, even though it might not be raining, it's not going to rain, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So that's what I want to do is like, okay, I want to see my schedule. I want to feel it, expect it, know what's coming next, because then that money, it's already there. And
excellent. That's exactly right.
It's already there. So yeah, that's kind of what I mean. I need to see the time now.
Okay,
like that next schedule. I'm like, yes, okay.
So
what's
you
next?
have everything here.
Yep.
Yeah. So so you have 8 sessions for 60 to 90 minutes, and then you have 4 for 50 to 60 minutes, and then you're going to multiply that by the number of people you want to bring in, right? So you can create that on a schedule. You can create a Google Calendar with that written out on it so that you will have a real visualization of what that looks like, right? And again, I will provide you with this so that you can get exactly that. Okay. Keep in mind that in the beginning, you're going to be doing a hell of a lot of work, a lot of writing, a lot of live streaming, a lot of, showcasing yourself and your philosophy. Okay. And your program. And it's going to be fun and the time is going to fly. But in the following year, the next year, you have to do a lot less showcasing, right? There's a lot less that you have to do because you've already created a live stream and you're going to keep showing that, right? You're going to put everything you do on Facebook, you're going to put on YouTube. Once it's on YouTube, you're going to email it out. There's nothing wrong with re-emailing the same video if you're talking about it in a different context. So you'll do a lot less creating in the future, unless of course you're like me, where you just keep on creating and creating and recreating and creating. It's just insane, but you don't have to do that much, So yes, the timing is really important, but at least for this level, you've got the numbers here in the worksheet, okay?
Which sounds excellent. Thank you so much. This was great. And I hope that everybody else got as much out of it as I did.
Yeah, I'm sure. And if you didn't get enough out of it, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a message, okay? Leave a comment, and I will happily address your issues, okay? And I want to thank my lovely guest, Ms. Gloria Ramos. Woohoo! I can't wait till we're back at work, Gloria. Cannot wait.
You got it. I look forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. I just can't wait. And thank goodness it's only 3 weeks away or 4 weeks or something like that. 3 weeks away.
No, yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, okay. All right. We're going to do this.
All right.
All right, girl. I'll see you later.
Great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, beautiful.